Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my channel. So today's video is a little different. I wanted to talk about bartending. My shirt's a little wet because it's raining right now in New Jersey, so that's why I look like this. But I'm really into bartending, and I would say the hardest part about bartending is getting into bartending. Not to say that it's not hard to be a bartender. I've worked as a barista for most of my life, so it's pretty much the same thing. I know some people are going to start throwing arrows at me, but just hear me out. When you're a barista, you have to manage drinks. You have to have good time management. You have to be very fast, efficient. You need to be outgoing and talk to people because you're not just on the bar. In fact, when you start as a barista, you don't even touch the bar. You can't even look at the bar. All you have to do is learn the POS or point of sale if you're not familiar with that terminology. You have to learn the menu, what the drinks are. You have to learn how to describe the drinks to people, which is similar to if you're a server and you want to be a bartender, you need to know what's in the drinks. What's a margarita? Okay, triple sec, tequila, lime juice, salt on the rim, and then a lime, right? I know there's variations. I hope I got that right, but I regularly drink, so I should know that. But it's pretty much the same skills. You need to like people, you need to be fast, you need to be efficient, and you need to be very organized mentally and physically. So every step you take needs to count. I remember being trained on the bar, and someone told me your hand should always have something in it. And I remember someone told me, you need to be faster. And I'm like, okay, how do I be faster? And then they actually broke it down to me and said, okay, so right now you're brewing the shot. Okay, cool. You can also like take out the other group head, dump it out, and grind coffee. So like every 2 seconds you're doing something, and then it clicked. And I'm pretty sure with bartending it's the same thing, right? Like you have to make sure when you look at your tickets, you're moving in a way that makes sense. Like you don't want to have to grab the same thing twice. Like if you have two drinks that require vodka, pretty sure you have to like get one of the bigger shakers where you can put two drinks in one, right? It's the same thing with being a barista. If you have a flat white and a cortado, you can steam the milk separately. You can do it twice, or you can get the big pitcher and pour enough milk so that you can make enough drink for a macchiato, a flat white, and a cortado. So as a barista, you learn the tips and tricks. You have to wake up early, you have to have a lot of patience, you have to be able to recommend drinks. I would say that baristas don't really have the same flexibility that bartenders have. I feel like bartenders have more room to be a little rude and direct. As a barista, at least if you're working in a more corporate place like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, you can't really tell like it is. You can't cut people off, you can't kick people out. But as a bartender, you definitely can because you got to make sure people are safe and they're not like being overserved. But my frustration with trying to get into bartending is that it is incredibly hard. I've received such conflicting advice. One person said, just lie on your resume. And I'm like, if I lie and then I get to the interview and the manager says, okay, so for your interview, go behind the bar and make me a cosmopolitan. What the fuck is a cosmopolitan? What is that? But I'm not saying I'm not familiar with drinks, but like at the time, I wasn't a drinker, so I didn't really know what the drinks were. But I've also heard, oh, just start as a server, start as a server or a host, and then work your way up. And then I would apply to these jobs as a host or a bar back. Yeah, a lot of people were telling me that. They were like, you're a guy, just be a bar back. And I said, okay, go on Craigslist. Must have 5 years of experience as a bar back. I just, what? So I'm not saying it's hard to be a bar. I'm not saying it's not hard to be a bar back, but at the same time, if that's supposed to be the lowest on the totem pole, correct me if I'm wrong, bartenders, but if that's the lowest on the pole, like that's where you have to start, why do you need experience? And I know someone's gonna say, you don't need experience. According to Craigslist, you need experience. So I got really frustrated because I'm like, damn, I want to be a bartender, but so many places want experience as a bartender, respectfully, but then even as a server, some places want 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 years of experience, or fine dining experience, or you must have casual dining experience, whatever. Even as a host, I've seen that must have experience. And I would say, even before I started working as a server, because that's what I'm doing right now, I still had the drive to do it. I walked into a bar once and I said, "Hey, I want to be a bartender." And the bartender slash server was like, "Do you have experience?" And I was like, "Yes and no. Like, I've never been a bartender formally, but I know when I'm drinking. Like, I know what's in a margarita. I know what's in a Moscow Mule. I know what's in a lychee martini. I just need someone to give me a chance." And then she smiled at me, and then she went to the back and got the chef, and he really hired me. Now, I didn't stay there for a long time, but they promised that they would have me bartend sometimes, but I would mostly work as a host and a server. When I started the job, I was mostly being a host, and I did not like it. I know someone's gonna say, "Well, you have to start as a host." I don't want to do that. I'm sorry. I was already a barista for years, and I'm like, I really think that the skills you have can transfer over to the bartending world. Obviously, there's things you learn as a bartender that you can't learn as a barista, but I also think you need the right attitude. Like, I've heard horror stories of people that were like, they were thrown to the wolves, but they learned on the spot. I'm like that. Like, when I first started being a barista, I remember when I finally touched the espresso machine, because I don't know if I said this earlier, but when you first get hired, you can't touch the machine. You're only on POS. Now, when you start on the machine, someone's always with you to watch you. But there is a time where you're by yourself. Someone's on break, the manager's not there, whatever the case may be. When I worked at Starbucks, I was by myself. And I remember I had 20 plus drinks: hot drinks, cold drinks, cappuccino, latte, ice Americano, frappuccinos, double blended. The oven's beeping. Everyone's standing there staring at me like this. I had two options. I could either clock out and go home, never come back, or I could swim. I chose to swim. I had customers being fucking disrespectful to me. And I was just like, I don't care, because I want to make money. So it's like, I really wanted to be on the bar, right? And I was like, this is the test. You either pass or you fail. And I passed. And I feel like it's the same with bartending. Like, even when you get pretty good at bartending, there's going to be a time where you don't know what's in a drink. Or there's just going to be a time where something goes wrong, like the keg runs out of liquor or whatever, or you thought you had a beer, but then you realize that you don't have it in stock anymore. Then you have to refund the customer. Like, things like that happen. But I guess my frustration is, I've been getting so much advice about how to be a bartender, like how to get in, but a lot of people that have been bartending got into it like 10 years ago. Life is very different now. Like, a lot of places online specifically say this is a bar back job, not the entryway for you to become a bartender. You will not be a bartender. This is for you to bar back. And I was like, damn, like, it is so discouraging, because I like really want to get into it, but there's times where I want to give up, because it just seems like you have to jump through so many hoops of fire just to get into bartending. Like, right now, I work at a cafe that's pretty much like a bar and a coffee shop and a restaurant all together. So right now, I do make some alcoholic drinks like Hugo Spritz, Aperol Spritz, but they're kind of non-alcoholic. So apparently, the job I work at, they don't have a liquor license, so we don't have cocktails yet. But I told the owner, like, I want to be a bartender. So since you serve alcohol, I'm just letting you know I want to be promoted to bartender when the time comes. And he said, okay. So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, I'm not going to give up, but it is frustrating because you can give advice, but everyone's journey is different. Like there are people who lied on their resume, and then when they start, they freak out because they've never bartended. I met this guy that said, "Yeah, I lied on my resume," and then whenever I would go, I would see him like really anxious and like be in this frenzy, and his coworkers would be like, "Dude, I need you to chill. Like you have 3 drinks. It's not busy. Relax." But he would be filled with anxiety because it was a lot for him. Um, but there's people who lie on their resume and then like they're bartending with flying colors. Good for them. And there's people who had to start as a host and they worked their way up. But I don't know what my journey is. Like maybe I'll get hired at a dive bar next, or maybe like a sports bar, or a place that will take a chance with me. I interviewed at this one place and they even said on the ad, you don't necessarily need the experience. We're happy to train you as long as you have the right personality and attitude. And I was like, that's me, perfect. But when I went in, the guy interviewed me on the spot and he's asking me like, how much do you know about bartending? And I was like, I mean, I know a fair amount. And I'm like talking about myself and like what I like to do, what I like to drink. And he was like, you know what? Like, I want to give you a chance, but I'm going to be honest. I have 2 other people coming in. So I don't want to make any promises. If it doesn't work out with them and I don't like them, I'll hire you. And I was like, that's fine. But I never heard back from them. So I just took it as a loss. But I think it's like a needle in the haystack. It's hard to get in, but once you get in, like you can just go up from there. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't know. That's it. I just wanted to kind of vent and talk about it. I'm sure there's like a lot of amazing bartenders out there, no matter where you are in the world and have your own insight. It's always appreciated. But yeah, I hope I get into bartending. I mean, I'm kind of bartending now at my current job, but not really. But let's see what happens. Thanks for watching.